Strength does not come from winning. Your struggles develop your strengths. When you go through hardships and decide not to surrender, that is strength. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Build a mind so strong it scares people. Written and published by Listen Grow Sleep. So, you want to be extraordinary? Well, first, stop blaming your circumstances. Stop waiting for talent. Stop saying, I'll just try harder tomorrow. Nope, you don't need any of that. What you need is a mind so strong it could bench press the universe. Wait, how? Glad you asked. Here's the secret. The people who bend reality to their will, they're not mutants. They're not born with a boss mode gene. Nope. They just unlock the cheat code nobody talks about, mental strength. And trust me, it's not hiding in a fortune cookie. Imagine this. You're up against life's hardest challenges. Stress, setbacks, cute, disasters, a warm-up. Because your mind is like, is that all you got? That's mental strength. The kind that doesn't just climb mountains. It moves them. Okay, but how do you get it? Oh, you're gonna love this. I've spent years snooping around the brains of Navy SEALs, elite athletes, entrepreneurs, and, yes, people who survived situations that sound like they were written by a sadistic movie director. What did I find? Patterns, frameworks, mental hacks that let them say, pressure, never heard of her. And now, I'm handing it all to you. No fluff, no cheesy quotes, no, just think happy thoughts and the universe will deliver. This is science, baby. Real neuroscience, rewiring your brain to make you mentally invincible. Because this isn't just a guide to survive life, it's a blueprint to dominate it. You're about to learn how to develop emotional control so powerful it feels like a superpower. The exact protocol used by elite performers to maintain peak performance under extreme pressure. The 3 deadly habits that are secretly weakening your mind right now. A revolutionary approach to failure that turns setbacks into rocket fuel for growth. The warrior's mindset that transforms challenges into opportunities, and much more. Here's the deal. Knowing all this, it won't magically transform you. Nope, you're gonna have to get uncomfortable. Push past limits you didn't even know you had. Do the work. And yeah, sometimes it's gonna suck. But guess what? That's how you build a mind so strong, people don't just notice, they feel it. Not because you're scary, not because you're out here dominating like a supervillain. Number. They're inspired. Because your strength shows them what's possible. So, here's the question. Are you ready? Ready to do what 99% of people won't, so you can achieve what 99% of people can't? Because that journey, it starts right now. But wait, drop a comment. Let me know where you're watching from and what time it is there. Also leave a like and subscribe. Alright, now lean back and just chill out for an hour. And let's build a mind that rewrites the rules of what's possible. Chapter 1. The Invincible Mind. Alright, let's get real. Why is it that some people walk through chaos like it's a sunny day at the beach, while others crumble at the first sign of pressure? Spoiler. It's not luck. It's not magic. It's mental strength. And here's the kicker. Most people never even try to build it. Now, let's talk about you. Remember the last time life smacked you with a challenge. Maybe it was that awkward conversation you were dreading, or a goal that felt bigger than Mount Everest, or just one of those days where everything that could go wrong did. Be honest. Did you rise to the occasion? Or did you, find an excuse? Avoid it. Tap out before the real game even started. Here's the truth you don't want to hear. Your mind is a muscle. Don't push it, don't challenge it, and guess what? It stays weak. Just stick to the easy route. Congrats, you're fragile. And when the big stuff hits, snap. But you? Oh, you're not going out like that. Because starting today, we're turning that mental spaghetti into steel. Game on. The science behind mental strength. Here's something wild. Science says mental strength isn't just something you're born with. It's a skill. That's right. Your brain? It's like Play-Doh, but smarter. It has something called neuroplasticity, which means it can literally rewire itself depending on how you use it. Translation: you can train your mind to become unstoppable. Picture this. When you hit the gym and lift weights, your muscles don't just get stronger, they grow new fibers. Your brain does the exact same thing. Every time you face a challenge and push through, you're creating new neural pathways. Think of it like upgrading from a dirt road to a 6-lane highway of mental toughness. So yeah, every time you don't quit, you're not just surviving, you're building a mind that's designed to win. The 3 pillars of mental strength. 1. Emotional regulation. The ability to control your emotions rather than letting them control you. This isn't about suppressing feelings, it's about managing them effectively. 2. Cognitive flexibility. The capacity to adapt your thinking when circumstances change. This is what allows you to find solutions when others see only obstacles. 3. Resilient mindset. The unwavering belief that you can handle whatever comes your way. This isn't blind optimism. It's the deep understanding that you've survived every challenge life has thrown at you so far. The price of mental weakness. Alright, story time. Meet Lisa. Brilliant. Check. Talented. Double check. Full of potential. Absolutely. But guess what? She was terrified of failure. Every time a big opportunity knocked, she slammed the door shut. "I'm not ready," she'd say. Or, "What if I mess up?" Classic. 6 months later, Lisa hit rock bottom. She came to me, tears streaming down her face, and said, "It's like I'm watching my life happen without me. Everyone else is moving forward, and I'm stuck." And here's the thing, Lisa's story, it's not some 1 in a million sob story. It's everywhere. Millions of people are Lisa, bursting with potential but paralyzed by fear. It's like they're ships with massive engines but no rudder. Tons of power but no direction. But don't worry, we're about to fix that. The transformation framework. Here's what we're going to do together. Identify your mental weaknesses. We'll start by pinpointing exactly where you're mental. Strength needs development. This isn't about judgment, it's about awareness. 2. Build your foundation. We'll establish the core habits and mindset shifts that create unshakable mental strength. 3. Face your challenges. We'll develop a systematic approach to turning every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. Your journey begins. Here's the thing. The difference between people who seem invincible and those who crumble, it's not luck, it's not fate, it's how they respond to challenges. And here's the good news. That response, you can learn it, you can control it, you can own it. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if fear didn't stand a chance? If every challenge was just another opportunity to flex your mental strength? That's the kind of mind we're building right here, right now. Chapter 2, the mindset revolution. Alright, let's cut the fluff. Life? It's not supposed to be easy. Look at anyone who's mentally strong. You think they got there lounging on a beach. Nope. They struggled, they failed, and they pushed through when every fiber of their being was screaming, "Just quit already!" Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. Every challenge, it's not here to crush you, it's here to forge you. Setbacks, failures, obstacles, they're not walls, they're weights. And once you see struggles as your personal mental gym, you stop breaking under pressure and start breaking records. Now let's talk about David Goggins. If you don't know his story, buckle up. The dude was overweight, miserable, working pest control, and basically stuck. Then one day, he saw a Navy SEAL documentary, and something just snapped. He decided to turn it all around. Here's the catch. To even qualify for SEAL training, he had to lose over 100 pounds in 3 months. Most people would have said, impossible. David said, watch me. He woke up at 4 a.m., ran miles every day, and pushed himself so far past his limits, it was basically science fiction. Did it hurt? You bet. Did he want to quit? Every single day. But he didn't, because he understood this one truth. Mental toughness is built in those moments when you want to stop, but don't. Fast forward a few years, and he's one of the toughest endurance athletes on the planet, breaking records and showing the world just how insane the human mind can be when it's trained to never give up. Now ask yourself, what limits are you ready to shatter? Let's get to work. The 3 levels of mental strength. 1. Basic resilience, handling everyday stresses, managing minor setbacks, maintaining composure under normal pressure. 2. Advanced fortitude, pushing through major obstacles, maintaining focus during extended challenges, recovering quickly from significant setbacks. 3. Elite mental toughness, thriving under extreme pressure, turning major failures into stepping stones, maintaining peak performance in crisis. The comfort trap. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Comfort, it's your worst enemy. Sure, your brain loves it because it's wired to keep you safe, to conserve energy, to avoid anything remotely uncomfortable. Sounds nice, right? But here's the catch. That same wiring, it's the reason you stay stuck. It keeps you safe and weak. So let me ask you this. When's the last time you did something that scared you? I'm talking really scared you. Like heart pounding, mind screaming, this is insane, I can't do this. Kind of scared. Think about it. That feeling, that's where the magic happens. That's where growth lives. If you're not stepping into that zone, you're not just staying comfortable, you're staying the same. And staying the same, that's the real danger. So, what are you going to do today that scares you? Let's find out. The transformation process. 1. Awareness. Recognize when you're choosing comfort over growth. Notice the excuses you make to avoid discomfort. 2. Intention. Make a conscious decision to seek out challenges. Start small, but start somewhere. 3. Action. Take consistent steps toward discomfort. Each challenge you face builds your mental strength. Reflection. Learn from every experience. What worked, what didn't. How can you push yourself further next time? The power of perspective. Let's flip the script. When life smacks you in the face, stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Boom. Just like that, your obstacles become opportunities. It's not magic, it's mindset. Here's the truth. Most of your limits, they're imaginary. Your body, it's a beast. It can endure way more than you think. It's your mind that waves the white flag first. But here's the good news. That same mind, it's trainable. You can teach it to push past anything. So, next time life gets hard, don't back down. Reframe it, embrace it, and show yourself just how unstoppable you can be. Let's go. Chapter 3. The 3 Deadly Habits. Alright, if you want to be mentally strong, it's time to cut out these 3 deadly habits. Now, these are the habits that keep you weak, stuck, and prevent you from becoming the unstoppable force you're meant to be. The first deadly habit, complaining. Complaining, it does nothing. Zip, zero. It just keeps you in the same place. Either fix it or accept it and move on. Simple. Here's what you don't realize. Every time you complain, you're telling your brain, I'm powerless. And guess what? Your brain believes it. So think back. When was the last time you complained? Did it solve anything? Did it make you feel better? Nope. All it did was drain your energy and keep you stuck in the problem. The second deadly habit, seeking comfort. Let me drop this truth. Growth never happens in comfort. You want to be strong, get uncomfortable, push yourself. Let me tell you about Michael. He was stuck in a job he hated, dreaming of starting his own business, but terrified of the unknown. What if I fail? He'd say. What if I can't make enough money? I asked him one question. What's worse, staying in a job you despise for the rest of your life, or taking a chance on something that could change everything? He quit the next week. Was it scary? Absolutely. Did he face challenges? Of course, but 6 months later, he had a thriving business and a whole new perspective on what he was capable of. The third deadly habit, making excuses. Excuses are for people who stay stuck. Here's the hard truth. You always have a choice. You can choose to stay where you are, or you can choose to do what makes you better. So, what's it going to be? You've got the power to break free from these habits. Let's get moving. Here's the pattern I see in mentally weak people. 1. They identify a goal. 2. They encounter an obstacle. 3. They make an excuse. 4. They give up. 5. They repeat the cycle. Breaking the cycle. To break these deadly habits, you need a system. Here's the one I use with my clients. 1. The awareness trigger. Notice when you're about to complain. Recognize when you're choosing comfort. Catch yourself making excuses. 2. The immediate action. Replace complaining with problem solving. Choose discomfort over comfort. Turn excuses into action steps 3. The reinforcement loop. Celebrate when you catch yourself. Track your progress. Build on your successes. The power of choice. Remember this, every moment is a choice. You can choose to complain, or you can choose to act. You can choose comfort, or you can choose growth. You can make excuses, or you can make progress. The choice is yours. What will you choose? Chapter 4, The Daily Forge. Now let's talk about the habits that actually build mental strength. These aren't just some abstract ideas or vague concepts. They're real, practical, and actionable steps you can take every day to make your mind unbreakable. Ready? Let's go. The power of cold showers. You hate discomfort? Good. Start your day by embracing it. Cold showers aren't just about getting clean. They're about discipline, mental toughness, and training your brain to handle what you don't want to face. Every time you step into that cold water, you're telling your brain, I can handle this. I'm stronger than my impulses. When I started cold showers, I hated it. The first week, total torture. I'd stand there shivering, counting the seconds until I could turn the water warm. But guess what happened after 2 weeks? The cold didn't bother me anymore. My body adapted. More importantly, my mind adapted. Suddenly, other discomforts, hard conversations, challenging tasks, didn't seem so bad. The mind-body connection. Here's something most people don't get. Your mind and body are connected. If your body's weak, your mind will be weak. But if you build strength in one, you build strength in both. This isn't just a metaphor, this is science. When you work out, you're doing more than building muscle. You're boosting blood flow to your brain, releasing endorphins, and creating neural pathways that improve cognitive function. Think about the last time you finished an intense workout. You were probably exhausted, right? But also, how did your mind feel afterward? Clearer, sharper, more capable? Yeah, that's because physical strength builds mental strength. The power of meditation. Meditation isn't just for monks or people who wear robes. It's practical. When you meditate, you're training your mind to focus, stay calm under pressure, and observe your thoughts without being controlled by them. I worked with a guy named James, a high-powered exec drowning in stress and about to burn out. I introduced him to a simple 10-minute meditation practice. After a month, he told me, "It's like I've discovered a secret weapon. When everything gets chaotic, I can take a breath, step back, and respond instead of react." Meditation doesn't just help you chill, it helps you develop unshakable mental strength. The Daily Challenge Protocol.
Here's your game plan. Every single day, do something hard. It could be waking up earlier, pushing yourself physically, working on a skill that intimidates you, or having a tough conversation you've been avoiding. The key is consistency. Challenge yourself every day and your mental strength will skyrocket.
I call this the Daily Challenge Protocol. Here's how it works. Identify 3 areas in your life where you're avoiding discomfort. It could be physical, emotional, or intellectual. 2. Face one of these challenges every day. Start small, but stay consistent. 3. As you get stronger, raise the difficulty and challenge yourself even more. The power of consistency. Here's the big secret to building mental strength. It's not about doing one incredibly difficult thing once. It's about doing moderately difficult things consistently. Small challenges faced regularly. That's how you forge a mind that can handle anything. Think about how a blacksmith forges a sword. They don't strike the metal once with all their might. They strike it again and again with consistent pressure. Over time, the metal gets stronger and sharper. Your mind works the same way. It's the daily practice, the constant effort, that builds unshakable mental strength. Ready to get started? Let's make it happen. The morning ritual. Start each day with a morning ritual that sets the tone for mental strength. Mine includes meditation, cold exposure, and physical exercise. Yours might be different, but the key elements should be: 1. Something that challenges your comfort zone. 2. Something that builds focus and discipline. 3. Something that energizes your body and mind. This isn't just about starting your day strong, it's about programming your brain to expect and embrace challenge. Every morning when you face something hard, you're telling your brain, today is a day for growth. Today is a day for strength. The evening reflection. Now let's talk about the evening. End your day with reflection. Take a few minutes to think about your day. What challenges did you face? How did you respond? What did you learn? This isn't about judgment. This is about growth. It's about becoming aware of your mental strength journey and how you're improving every single day. The power of habit stacking. Here's one of the most powerful ways to build mental strength: habit stacking. This is where you attach a challenging habit to something you already do. Here's how it works. If you already brush your teeth every morning, add 30 seconds of cold water to the end of your shower. If you already eat lunch every day, add 5 minutes of meditation right after. This technique makes these challenges non-negotiable. They become part of who you're becoming, not something you do just when you feel like it. Mental strength isn't built in a day. Here's the truth. Mental strength isn't built overnight. It's built through small, consistent actions every single day. Start today, start small, but start. You're listening to Build a Mind So Strong It Scares People. Let's keep pushing forward on our journey to developing that unshakable mental strength. Chapter 5. Emotional Mastery Under Pressure. Mentally strong people don't let emotions control them. They control their emotions. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but about developing the ability to respond thoughtfully, not react impulsively. The power of the pause. One of the key practices in emotional mastery is to pause before you react. When something triggers you, whether it's stress, anger, or fear, take a moment. Breathe. Count to 5. This small pause gives you power over your emotions instead of letting them control you. I worked with a client named Elena who struggled with anger management. Every little thing would set her off, and it was damaging her relationships. We introduced the pause protocol. It was tough at first, but after a while, she realized something remarkable. That pause gave her enough space to choose her response. Over time, her emotional control improved dramatically. The nature of emotions. Emotions are like waves. They rise, peak, and eventually subside. The problem is when we let them dictate our actions during their peak. Don't fight against the current. Ride it until it fades. When you're in the middle of intense emotions, remember, it's temporary. Think about the last time you were really angry. If you'd waited just 5 minutes, would your reaction have been different? Almost certainly. The Emotional Mastery Framework. Here's a framework I use with clients to develop emotional mastery. 1. Recognize your emotional triggers. What situations or people provoke strong emotions in you? Awareness is the first step to control. Develop your pause protocol. This could be deep breaths, counting, or something physical like pressing your thumb and forefinger together. Find something that works for you. Practice emotional labeling. When a strong emotion arises, identify it. Are you angry or hurt? Anxious or excited? This distinction can change how you respond. Choose your response. Once you've created space and clarity, decide how to respond. Don't deny your emotions. Express them in a way that serves your goals. The power of reframing. Reframing is a powerful tool for emotional mastery. Change how you interpret events. Instead of viewing a challenge as a threat, see it as an opportunity. When something goes wrong, focus on what you've learned, not what you've lost. I worked with a client named Marcus who'd just been passed over for a promotion he'd worked years for. Initially, he was devastated, but we reframed his perspective. Instead of seeing it as failure, he saw it as valuable feedback on what he needed to work on. Within 6 months, he'd developed those skills and earned an even better promotion. The physiology of emotion. Your emotions aren't just in your head, they're in your body too. When you're anxious, your heart races. When you're angry, your jaw clenches. But here's the powerful part. You can use your body to influence your emotions. Slow your breathing, relax your shoulders, adjust your posture, and you'll feel your emotions shift. The mentally strong person understands this connection and uses it to their advantage. When anxiety rises, they breathe deeply and relax their body. When anger builds, they release tension in their muscles. The power of emotional boundaries. Emotional mastery involves setting healthy boundaries. Recognize where you end and others begin. Be clear about what behavior you will accept and what you won't. Sophia, a client I worked with, was constantly overwhelmed by the emotions of others. She absorbed the stress and anxiety of people around her. We worked on developing emotional boundaries, helping her recognize when she was taking on others' emotions. She learned how to protect her energy and maintain her calm, even in chaotic situations. The practice of emotional mastery. Emotional mastery is a continuous practice. It's not a one-time achievement. To keep improving, start each day with an emotional check-in. How are you feeling? What might trigger strong emotions today? How will you respond? Practice the pause protocol throughout the day. When emotions arise, pause, breathe, and choose your response. End the day with emotional reflection. How did you handle your emotions? What can you learn from today's experience? Remember, you are not your emotions. You are the observer of them. With practice, you'll develop the ability to remain calm and focused, even in the emotional storms. Chapter 6. The Art of Failure. Most people are terrified of failure. They see it as a sign of weakness or inadequacy, something to avoid at all costs. But here's the truth. Failure is a requirement for success. You can't grow without it. The paradox of failure. The greatest paradox of mental strength is that it's built through failure. Every time you fail, you're given an opportunity to learn, adapt, and grow stronger. The best athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders have failed more times than most people have even tried. Think about Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times before successfully inventing the light bulb. When asked about these failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." That mindset is what separates those who succeed from those who don't. The failure mindset shift. Here's the shift you need to make. Stop seeing failure as the opposite of success. Start seeing it as a stepping stone on the path to success. Every failure is feedback. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise. Take Alex, a client of mine. His first business venture failed spectacularly, leaving him in debt. He felt like a failure and was ready to give up on his entrepreneurial dreams. But we reframed this failure. Instead of seeing it as proof he couldn't succeed, he saw it as an expensive but valuable education. He analyzed the mistakes, learned the lessons, and launched a new venture. Within 2 years, he had not only recovered financially, but was thriving in a way he hadn't expected. The 3 types of failure. Understanding the different types of failure can help you respond more effectively. 1. Strategic failures. When your approach or plan doesn't work as expected, these are valuable because they help refine your strategy. 2. Execution failures. When you fail to implement your plan effectively, These failures reveal your limitations and show where you need to improve or seek help. Third, character failures. When you fail to live up to your own values or standards. These are the toughest but most transformative, as they force you to grow as a person. The failure recovery protocol. When failure strikes, it's normal to feel overwhelmed or discouraged. Here's the failure recovery protocol I use with clients. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. Don't suppress them. Acknowledge your disappointment, fear, or frustration. Feel it fully. 2. Extract the lessons. What went wrong? What can you do differently next time? What did you learn about yourself and the situation? 3. Reframe the failure. See it as a pivot point, not an end point. What opportunities does this failure create? How can it guide you toward a better path? Take action. The most important step is to take any action that moves you forward. It doesn't have to be a giant leap, just a step in the right direction. The power of small failures. One of the best ways to build resilience is by deliberately seeking small failures. Put yourself in situations where failure is possible, but where the stakes are low. Try a new skill, take a class you're not good at, or challenge yourself in ways that make you uncomfortable. The goal isn't to succeed, it's to fail and recover. With each failure and recovery, you strengthen your resilience. You learn that failure is not fatal, and you can thrive after setbacks. The failure journal. Keep a failure journal, document your failures, big and small. Reflect on what happened, how you felt, what you learned, and how you recovered. This isn't about dwelling on your mistakes, it's about learning from them. Over time, you'll identify patterns and develop strategies to improve. The failure mindset in action. Let me tell you about Sarah, a client who was always a high achiever and rarely failed. When she did, she would become paralyzed, unable to move forward. We worked on developing a failure mindset. She started small, enrolling in a pottery class. Her first attempts were terrible, but she embraced them. She laughed at her creations and saw each failure as a step toward improvement. Gradually, she began taking on more challenging projects at work, where success wasn't guaranteed. She learned to view failure not as a reflection of her worth, but as a natural part of growth. Within 6 months, her relationship with failure had transformed. She was taking more risks, learning faster, and achieving more. She told me, "I feel like I've been set free. I'm no longer paralyzed by the fear of failure." The ultimate truth about failure. The ultimate truth about failure is this: the only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just feedback, a lesson, a stepping stone on your path to success. When you fail, you have two choices. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. You can see it as proof that you can't succeed, or as evidence that you're pushing your limits, growing and evolving. The mentally strong person chooses the latter. They understand that failure is not the end of the road, it's just a bend in the road. With the right mindset, every failure becomes a foundation for future success. Remember, if you've failed recently, good. That means you're trying, learning, and growing. Keep going. Chapter 7. The Warrior's Mind. Let's talk about something that separates the truly mentally strong from everyone else: the warrior's mind. This isn't about physical combat. It's about developing the mindset of someone who's ready for any challenge life throws their way. Think about the ancient Spartans. They didn't just train their bodies, they forged their minds into weapons more powerful than any sword. They understood something most people today have forgotten. True strength starts in the mind. The mental battlefield. Every day, you're fighting battles, not with swords or shields, but with doubt, fear, procrastination, and uncertainty. These enemies are more dangerous than any physical opponent because they live inside your head. They know your weaknesses. They know exactly when to strike. I worked with a professional athlete named Marcus who was dominating in practice, but crumbling under pressure during games. His physical skills were exceptional, but his mind was betraying him at crucial moments. "It's like there's another person in my head," he told me. someone who wants me to fail. We developed what I call the Warrior's Protocol, a systematic approach to conquering these internal enemies. Within 3 months, Marcus wasn't just performing well under pressure, he was actively seeking out high-pressure situations because he knew they would make him stronger. The 4 elements of the warrior's mind. First, there's presence. Warriors don't live in the past or worry about the future. They're completely focused on the present moment. This isn't some mystical concept. It's about being fully engaged with whatever challenge is right in front of you. Second, there's purpose. Every warrior needs a mission bigger than themselves. When you're fighting for something meaningful, your capacity to endure increases exponentially. What are you fighting for? What gets you out of bed in the morning, ready to face whatever challenges await? Third, there's perspective. Warriors see challenges differently than ordinary people. Where others see obstacles, they see opportunities. Where others see reasons to quit, they see reasons to push harder. Fourth, there's persistence. This is the ability to keep going when everything inside you is screaming to stop. It's not about being stubborn, it's about being unstoppable. The mental training ground. Just like a warrior trains with weapons before entering battle, you need to train your mind before facing life's biggest challenges. Here's how we do it. Start with small battles. Maybe it's getting up an hour earlier than usual, or having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Each small victory builds confidence for bigger challenges. Then, gradually increase the intensity. Push yourself into increasingly uncomfortable situations. Feel the fear, the doubt, the uncertainty, and push through anyway. Each time you do, you're building mental armor that will protect you when real challenges arise. You're listening to Build a Mind So Strong It Scares People. Let's continue our journey toward developing unshakable mental strength. Chapter 8. The Power of Mental Programming. Your mind is running programs right now. Thought patterns, beliefs and responses that have been installed over years of experience. Some of these programs serve you well, others are holding you back. Today, we're going to learn how to rewrite the code of your mind. The neural architecture. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every reaction you have, these are all neural pathways in your brain. The more you use these pathways, the stronger they become. This isn't philosophy, it's neuroscience. I remember working with a CEO named Sarah who had a powerful negative program running, "I'm not good enough." Despite her achievements, despite her success, this program was constantly running in the background, sabotaging her confidence and limiting her potential. We spent 6 months reprogramming her mind. It wasn't easy. These neural pathways had been strengthening for decades, but through consistent practice and specific techniques, we managed to install new programs. I am capable. I am worthy. I am strong. The result? Her company's revenue doubled. Her leadership presence transformed. But more importantly, she finally felt aligned with her true potential. The reprogramming protocol. First, we identify the existing programs. What thoughts run through your mind automatically? What beliefs do you hold about yourself, about others, about what's possible? These are your current programs. Then we assess these programs. Are they serving you or limiting you? Are they based on reality or on outdated experiences? Are they moving you toward your goals or holding you back? Next, we design new programs. These aren't just positive affirmations. They're carefully crafted statements aligned with your goals and grounded in reality. They need to be believable enough that your mind doesn't reject them, but powerful enough to drive real change. Finally, we install these new programs through consistent practice and specific techniques. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about rewiring your neural pathways through deliberate, consistent action. You're listening to Build a Mind So Strong It Scares People. Let's continue our journey toward developing unshakable mental strength. Chapter 9. The Unstoppable Drive. Let's talk about something that separates the truly exceptional from the merely good, unstoppable drive. This isn't about motivation. motivation comes and goes. This is about developing a force inside you that keeps pushing forward when motivation has long since faded. The fire within. I once worked with an entrepreneur named James, who had what most people would consider a successful business, but he knew he was capable of more. The problem wasn't his skills or his knowledge, it was his drive. Some days he felt unstoppable, others he could barely get out of bed. We developed what I call the Perpetual Motion Protocol, a system for maintaining forward momentum regardless of how you feel. Within a year, his business had grown tenfold, but more importantly, he had developed something priceless, the ability to push forward regardless of circumstances. The three engines of drive first. There's purpose, your reason why. This isn't just about goals. It's about having a mission so compelling that it pulls you forward even when things get tough. What's your purpose? What gets you fired up just thinking about it? Second, there's progress, the ability to see and feel your forward momentum. We created a system for tracking not just results, but effort. Every action, every step forward became fuel for the fire. Third, there's pressure. Not the destructive kind that paralyzes you, but the productive kind that propels you forward. Like a diamond formed under pressure, your drive becomes stronger when challenged. The momentum maintenance system. The key to unstoppable drive isn't in grand gestures or dramatic changes. It's in the small, consistent actions that maintain momentum. Here's how we build it. Start each day by connecting with your purpose. Not just thinking about it, but feeling it. What difference will you make today? Who are you becoming? What legacy are you building? Throughout the day, focus on progress, not perfection. Every small win counts. Every step forward matters. Build momentum through consistent action, not sporadic bursts of effort. End each day by setting yourself up for tomorrow's success. Review your wins, learn from your setbacks, and plan your next moves. Remember, momentum is built day by day, decision by decision, action by action. Remember, you're not just building mental strength, you're becoming unstoppable. And that journey continues with every challenge you face, every obstacle you overcome, and every limit you push past. Chapter 10. The Unbreakable Spirit. Let's talk about something that goes beyond mental strength, something that defines the truly extraordinary, the unbreakable spirit. This isn't just about being tough or resilient. This is about developing an inner core so strong that nothing, absolutely nothing, can break you. The forge of adversity. I remember working with a client named Maya, a survivor of unimaginable hardship. She had lost everything, her home, her business, her health, in a series of catastrophic events. When she came to me, she wasn't just broken, she was convinced she would never recover. I don't know how to be strong anymore, she told me, tears streaming down her face. Everything I built, everything I believed in, it's all gone. What Maya didn't realize was that she was in the forge. Just as the hottest fires create the strongest steel, the most challenging circumstances can forge the strongest spirit. We developed what I call the Phoenix Protocol, a systematic approach to rising from the ashes stronger than ever. The three pillars of an unbreakable spirit. First, there's identity. Not who you think you are, not who others say you are, but who you choose to be in your darkest moments. When everything external is stripped away, what remains? That's your true identity. Second, there's purpose. This goes beyond goals or achievements. This is your reason for being, your contribution to the world. When you have a purpose bigger than your pain, you become unstoppable. Third, there's legacy. What story will they tell about how you faced your challenges? What example are you setting for others who will face similar battles? Your legacy isn't just what you leave behind, it's the strength you inspire in others. The unbreakable code. Here's what most people don't understand about being unbreakable. It's not about being impervious to pain or immune to setbacks. It's about developing the absolute certainty that no matter what happens, you will find a way through. Think about a bamboo tree in a storm. While mighty oaks might crack and fall, the bamboo bends but never breaks. It's not about being rigid, it's about being resilient. It's about having the flexibility to adapt while maintaining your core strength. The Phoenix Rising Protocol. First, embrace the fire. Don't run from your challenges, lean into them. Every difficulty, every setback, every moment of pain is fuel for your transformation. Second, extract the power. What strength is this situation forcing you to develop? What wisdom is it teaching you? What capabilities are you building that you never knew you had? Third, expand your impact. Use your experience to lift others. Your story of resilience becomes a beacon of hope for those still in the darkness. Chapter 11, the Elite Performance Matrix. Today, we're going to explore the hidden architecture of elite performance, the systems and strategies that separate world-class performers from everyone else. This isn't about talent or luck. This is about building a performance matrix so powerful it seems almost superhuman. The performance paradox. Let me tell you about Alex, a special forces operator I worked with. In training, he was exceptional, top of his class in every metric. But in real-world scenarios, something was holding him back. He had all the physical capabilities, all the technical skills, but something was missing. What we discovered changed everything. Elite performance isn't about being perfect. It's about being perfectly adapted to chaos. It's about building systems so robust that they work not just under ideal conditions, but especially when everything goes wrong. The 4 dimensions of elite performance. First, there's mental clarity. This isn't just about focus, it's about maintaining crystal clear thinking under extreme pressure. When others are clouded by stress or fear, your mind stays sharp as a laser. Second, there's emotional control. Not suppression, but mastery. The ability to use your emotions as fuel rather than letting them become obstacles. Fear becomes focus. Anger becomes power. Anxiety becomes alertness. Third, there's physical intelligence. This goes beyond strength or endurance. It's about developing such deep awareness of your body that you can instantly adapt to any situation, any challenge, any environment. Fourth, there's strategic awareness. The ability to see patterns others miss, to anticipate challenges before they arise, to make decisions in microseconds that others would need minutes to process. The Elite Performance Protocol. We developed what I call the Elite Performance Matrix, a comprehensive system for developing world-class capabilities in any domain. Here's how it works. First, we identify your performance gaps. Not just your weaknesses, but the specific scenarios where your performance drops below elite levels. These aren't failures, they're opportunities for exponential growth. Then, we build your performance architecture. This isn't just about improving individual skills. It's about creating systems that work together synergistically. When your mental game supports your physical capabilities, when your emotional control enhances your strategic thinking, you become unstoppable. Chapter 12, the ultimate integration. We've covered a lot of ground together. We've explored the foundations of mental strength, the warrior's mindset, emotional mastery, and elite performance. Now it's time to bring it all together, to integrate these elements into something greater than the sum of its parts. The Integration Challenge. I worked with a client named David who had mastered many of the individual elements we've discussed. He had incredible mental toughness, strong emotional control, and elite-level performance capabilities. But something was missing, the synergy that turns great into extraordinary. We developed what I call the Ultimate Integration Protocol, a systematic approach to weaving these elements together into a seamless whole. The results were beyond what either of us imagined possible. Within 6 months, David wasn't just performing better, he was operating on an entirely different level. His colleagues described him as transformed, unstoppable, and even intimidating in his newfound capability. The 3 levels of integration. First, there's technical integration. This is where you bring together all the tools, techniques, and strategies you've learned. It's about having them work together seamlessly, automatically, without conscious thought. Think of it like a master martial artist who doesn't need to think about which technique to use. Their body and mind respond instinctively to any situation. When you achieve technical integration, your mental strength tools become second nature. You don't need to consciously remember to pause before reacting. You just do it. You don't need to remind yourself to reframe challenges. It happens automatically. Your mind has been rewired to operate at a higher level. Second, there's psychological integration. This is where your mindset, emotions, and identity align perfectly with your capabilities. No more internal conflicts, no more self-sabotage, just pure, focused power. This is when your conscious and subconscious minds are working in harmony toward the same goals. I remember a client named Rachel who had struggled with imposter syndrome for years. Despite her impressive achievements, she constantly felt like a fraud, waiting to be found out. We worked on psychological integration, aligning her identity with her capabilities. The transformation was remarkable. I finally feel like I'm living as my true self, she told me. There's no more disconnect between who I am and what I can do. Third, there's spiritual integration. This isn't about religion. It's about connecting with something bigger than yourself. It's about finding meaning and purpose in everything you do, every challenge you face, every victory you achieve. This is what gives your mental strength depth and sustainability. The final protocol. Here's how we bring it all together. Start each day with the integration ritual. Connect with your purpose, align your mind and body, and set your intentions for the day. This isn't just routine, it's a sacred practice that sets the tone for everything that follows. For David, this meant starting each day with 20 minutes of meditation, followed by a cold shower, and then a brief visualization of his highest potential. It sounds simple, he told me, but those 30 minutes completely transformed how I approach every challenge that follows. Throughout the day, practice what I call dynamic integration. This means constantly adjusting, adapting, and aligning your capabilities to meet whatever challenges arise. Like a master martial artist who can seamlessly flow between techniques, you learn to access exactly what you need when you need it. This isn't about having a rigid system. It's about developing the flexibility to respond appropriately to any situation. Sometimes you need the warrior's mindset. Sometimes you need emotional mastery. Sometimes you need the unbreakable spirit. The key is knowing which tool to use and when. End each day with the mastery review. What worked? What didn't? How can you integrate your experiences more fully? This isn't just reflection. It's active integration of every lesson, every insight, every bit of growth. The integration matrix. To help my clients achieve this level of integration, I developed what I call the integration matrix, a comprehensive framework for bringing together all the elements of mental strength. Here's how it works. First, we map your current capabilities. What mental strength tools do you already have? How well are they working? Where are the gaps? Then we identify your integration points, the specific. Situations where you need to bring multiple elements of mental strength together. This might be high-pressure presentations, difficult conversations, or challenging projects. Next, we develop your integration protocols, specific strategies for bringing your mental strength tools together in these key situations. This isn't about memorizing steps. It's about creating neural pathways that automatically activate the right combination of tools when needed. Finally, we practice these integrations deliberately until they become automatic. This is where the magic happens, when your mental strength tools work together seamlessly, creating a whole that is greater than the sum of its parts. The power of synergy. When you achieve true integration, something remarkable happens. Your mental strength doesn't just add up, it multiplies. It's like the difference between having a collection of musical instruments and having an orchestra. Individually, each instrument can create beautiful sounds, but when they play together in harmony, they create something transcendent. I saw this with a client named Marcus, a professional athlete who had plateaued in his career. He had all the physical skills, but something was holding him back. We worked on integrating his mental game with his physical capabilities. The results were extraordinary. It's like I've discovered a new gear, he told me. I'm not just stronger or faster, I'm operating on an entirely different level. The integration challenge. Here's your final challenge. Take everything you've learned in this audiobook and begin the process of integration. Don't try to master everything at once. Start with one area where you need mental strength the most. Apply the tools we've discussed. Notice what works and what doesn't. Adjust and refine. Then, gradually expand. Add another element. See how it interacts with what you've already mastered. Continue this process of expansion and integration until your mental strength becomes a seamless whole. The ultimate truth. Here's what I want you to remember as we conclude our journey together. You are capable of far more than you imagine. The strength you're building isn't just about facing challenges, it's about transforming yourself into someone who thrives on them. Every technique you've learned, every mindset shift you've made, every capability you've developed, these aren't just tools, they're parts of who you're becoming. And who you're becoming is someone extraordinary. The final integration. Remember, mental strength isn't just about being tough, it's about being complete. It's about integrating every aspect of who you are into something powerful, purposeful, and unstoppable. Think about the person you were when you started listening to this audiobook. Now imagine the person you're becoming. Someone with unshakable mental strength, emotional mastery, and an unbreakable spirit. Someone who faces challenges not with fear, but with excitement. Someone who sees obstacles not as barriers, but as opportunities. This transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through consistent practice, through facing your fears, through pushing past your limits day after day. It happens through the integration of all the elements we've discussed. The warrior's mindset, emotional mastery, the power of failure, the unbreakable spirit, and elite performance. Your journey continues. As we conclude this audiobook, I want to leave you with one final thought. Your journey of mental strength doesn't end here. It's just beginning. The tools and strategies we've discussed are just the foundation. What you build on that foundation is up to you. Some of you will use these tools to overcome personal challenges. Others will use them to achieve extraordinary goals. Still others will use them to make a difference in the world. Whatever path you choose, remember that you now have the mental strength to pursue it with everything you've got. The world needs people with minds so strong they scare others, not because they're intimidating, but because they're inspiring. They show others what's possible. They demonstrate that limits are meant to be pushed, that obstacles are meant to be overcome, that greatness is within reach for anyone willing to do the work. You are becoming one of those people. This is Author Name, and you've been listening to Build a Mind So Strong It Scares People. Thank you for joining me on this journey toward developing unshakable mental strength. Now go out there and show the world what you're capable of.